Welcome to the Looking Glass. Today we're going to learn about the baptism of water and the baptism of fire, not just from a Christian concept, but from a concept of shamanism and ancient rituals and the knowledge of what our spiritual ascension looks like and how it is associated with water and fire. Although this is an individual reading for Jacqueline, this is also a collective reading for those of us who are going through the water and the fire baptism. I read for Jacqueline last year, and her brother came through, and at that reading, he was below the wall. Her brother came through again to teach us about the ascension of the soul, whether we are living or not in this current realm. So Jacqueline is seated on a wall, and her brother is showing her his baptism. So around 9 o'clock, her brother is going through the number 7 with the moon on his head. The moon is a symbol of the mind and reflects the male energy, and it reflects the world where it's kind of the world of the dead. It doesn't necessarily literally mean dead, but it just mainly means ignorance and being under narcissistic controls, as we can see the archons in this piece, kind of like prison guards. And the water drop that's next to her brother is reflective of water, which is baptism. He went through a doorway, which is the shape of a number 7, and went up through the corona borealis, which is his hand, and is showing himself as being ascended, with the foot on his head, meaning that he kicked his drug habit. And Jacqueline is holding a book. So her brother's on one page and his daughter, or a young girl, is on the other page. And he's also in a waiting place. He went to a waiting place, kind of like Neo Anderson in the train station. And he's saying that there are parallel worlds, and when we go to these parallel worlds, we continue to grow our soul. So we may hold an image of our mother, father, brother, of who they were in our minds, and the brother is saying, unlock who you thought of me out of the prison of your mind. I am no longer the same. The right-hand side of the page is teaching Jacqueline what she needs to do to increase her oracle energy, because she has a job to do. There are lives to save. So we see a stag. A stag reflects psychic energy. The lightning on the stag, which is the antlers, reflects that we shifted like a thief in the night, or like lightning. And the lightning reflects our lightning rainbow light body. And she has healing hands with large hands at 2 o'clock holding an orb. This is an oracle ball. She's an oracle. At 1 o'clock, she has a peacock above her head. This is strengthening your pineal gland and your psychic abilities by both drinking clean water, like well water or spring water, and also eating more honey. Honey will increase your psychic abilities at this time. I also see that you have an elephant on your head, and an individual next to you is holding your crown, and you need to let go of the matrix and the mind. Don't look into the past, and don't connect with people who are connected to the matrix, because it's time for you to ascend, and it's time for you to go through the baptism of fire. You have already gone through the baptism of water. So this is the image of her boyfriend Ronald, and she asked, where is Ronald? Well, her boyfriend Ronald is still going through the baptism of water. This baptism isn't what we are told in Christian religion. It's not a one-time baptism. It is a surrender. It is adopting Christ consciousness, yes, but it is a letting go. So him throwing up in the bath is letting go, forgiveness, surrender. And when we forgive and let go and surrender, we can let go and become light as a feather, like a bird, and go up above the wall to fire. So this baptism is about the bird energy. It is about a mirror. We look at ourselves in water. Water was the original mirror. So when you're looking at yourself in a bath or a mirror, this is narcissism. But if we can look at ourselves and not see ourselves, but see the image of God, or see the female within you, and become balanced with male and female or God, then we have become the blazing star of Solomon, which is the symbol above Jacqueline's brother, who is at 2 o'clock. And Jacqueline's brother is saying, hey, if you can walk up Jacob's ladder to the blazing star, you will become the Christmas tree. Christmas is celebrated on the 12th month. So when you become 12 years old spiritually, you will be ignited with the flame, which is the baptism of fire, and you will look like a Christmas tree and wear the rainbow light body, like lights on your body, and you will step into your gift. Christmas trees have gifts underneath them, and these gifts mean that you will step into a gift and become a gift to yourself and the world. And Ronald has a gift as a treasure chest around 11 o'clock, and he is a seer. He is meant to see like a remote viewer and will help other people ascend above the wall if he can ascend above the wall himself. The baptism of fire is different. It's not like the baptism of water when it comes to forgiveness and surrendering and seeing yourself as different and awakening to who you truly are. The baptism of fire is about connecting with other minds, including the mind of God. You become a collective consciousness, and there is no privacy, and there will be requirements in this baptism of fire, and the requirement is that you have to be clean of your mind, of your emotions, and your actions have to prove that you are obedient to a higher self. And many people will begin to hear this higher self as well, and they all become a hive mind and a collective consciousness. Because when you go above the wall, you cannot be angry or have the spirit of abandonment or low self-worth or the spirit of grief, because your thoughts will infect the collective like a corona crown. So the crown is about the head chakra. It is about the baptism of fire, and it is about realizing things. So it is really a school of knowledge that we have to awaken to. And we have to watch our thoughts because other people are connected to us. And if we have suicidal thoughts or depression, or if we do not know how to transmute lower thoughts, then we become an infection or a virus to the collective. So it's about adepthood and stepping into that adepthood. So we looked into Ronald, the origin of his pain and why he can't seem to move past the baptism of water. And it really began with his mother and his father. His mother has passed away, and we can see her centered there. She's a very religious woman who kept her face in the Bible, and she sold her soul to a religious organization that is really dominated by the jinn and the hat man. And when we are dominated by the jinn or the hat man, we often sign our mind and our soul away to these organizations, and they take over our minds, and we become someone other than what we were meant to be. Behind the priest is a holy dove that has been cut. So her holy dove, and connecting with the female divine energy that would have brought life instead of death, was cut from her mother. The father is dominated by a reptilian and has the rings of Saturn around his head, and this is Saturn Satan. This is really just an energy and mind control that is keeping the mother and the father from being their authentic self. They never went through the baptism of water or fire, and they were spiritually dead because they never became alive. They were dominated by someone other than themselves. So Ronald is seen below the Bible being completely neglected, and emotionally in every way. He never saw his true mother and his father. Therefore, he never saw himself. Everything in his father told him was from the Archon and the Jinn, which means that he doesn't know who he is because he was lied to about who he is his entire life. Awakening to this truth sometimes takes lifetimes, and sometimes people don't go through the baptism of water for many lifetimes. So the mother died and was eaten by a snake at the bottom and was squeezed her life force. However, it's surprising that his mother came forward crying tears, saying, "I'm so sorry, my darling. I never knew you. You never knew me. If I could do it over again, I would have never sold my soul to the jinn or reptilians, and I would have grown the female, and the female has the ability to give life and truth, not death. to their children. The Holy Dove is rebirthing within our reality now, and the Holy Dove is not the dove of death. The Holy Dove says, I am the female, I have the ability to birth life, and whatever is dead can be brought back to life. What man intends for evil, God intends for good. We take evil, we turn it into good. We take death, we turn it into life. We take lies, we turn it into truth. And we take ignorance and we turn it into awakening. Since both of your parents are spiritually dead and dominated by something other than life, let the dead bury the dead. Cut them out of your life and burn their memory. It is time to take your ascension seriously because you have lives to save. Since both of you are seers and oracles and you have a job to help others out from the lower realm and to spread truth, it is not about spreading religion. It is about hearing a divine order of God and listening to the Holy Dove. And this Holy Dove is divine source and a life giver and transforms all that is hurt and turns it into healing. Your relationship reminds me of me and my husband when we were going through a very rough spot. He was distracted by work and alcoholism. I was distracted by self-importance and low self-worth, seeking to be famous. And he sent me a poem that I turned into a song, and I wanted you to hear the words. The music is really crappy because I did it really quick. Dismiss how it sounds, but listen to the lyrics and the words. Everything that's washed to sea like a baptism will always come back to the beach. And do not forsake your power and your might at this time. Go with the flow and go with the divine order of God. I will add that there are 2 wedding rings, and this could be a marriage. Although the marriage ceremony isn't really in the Bible. A true marriage is complete peace between male and female.
Can't describe what it means to me. No matter the terms, it's meant to be. When I feel you waver, it is the time away. The choice is yours. There are lives to save. Oh, do not believe. You might forget it. Save the lives. You won't regret it. Oh, everything that's washed to sea will come right back to the beach. See, go, see the sea. Everything comes back to the beach. The blind is stricken from the light. The weak give up their share of might. Riptide pulls you out to sea. We'll fight and drown. We'll float